Hey guys, Nicole here, and I have a layout share for you, of course. I just got back from my Scrappy weekend. Just going to try to make sure you can see everything here. Super bummed that it's over, but got a lot of great scrapbooking in and had a great time as always. So I'm just going to try to make sure I can get this here. Okay, I think that should be good. So I just wanted to talk about the layouts I got done and what lines I worked with. I got a lot of new product used up, a lot of older product used up. And the first set of supplies I worked with together, we went to Hobby Lobby the first night like we often do. And I picked up this beautiful line from Photoplay called Bohemian Rhapsody. And just gorgeous, gorgeous colors. And so I pulled that collection out and mixed it because it's very like earthy tones, lots of wood grains and things. I mixed it with my new Wildflower paper pad from American Crafts that I just showed in my recent haul. And then I paired it with an older collection, not old, but older, from Jen Hadfeld called her homemade collection called, sorry, trying to look for it here. I think Simple Life, I think is what it's called. And it was a different color scheme, but had a lot of the wood grains and kind of earthy tones to it too. And so I was able to mix a lot of that together and really got a lot of them used up. This collection, the Bohemian Rhapsody, I almost got completely used up, and a good portion of the Jen Hadfeld was used up, and then probably about maybe a fourth of the paper pad, maybe. So anyway, the pictures I scrapbooked with this collection of supplies, I think I worked with them for about all day Saturday, was mostly a wedding of a friend, my childhood best friend that I recently went to. I scrapbooked all of those photos, as well as photos of my husband and I, because their wedding day was actually our anniversary as well, so I scrapbooked about that. It was an outdoor wedding, so it was perfect, and loved it. So I used lots of inspiration through the entire weekend. I did some big picture classes. You'll see in a little bit here, I worked with the Chamel Little by Little collection and went through all of Jen Scow's YouTube videos, her collection Disconnection that she did with that collection. So I went ahead and scrap lifted her, watched her videos, did some Chamel inspiration in there, just a variety of things. And so I'm trying to remember what this one was. I think this one was a big picture one, and I just kind of flipped through different classes, and I know I did one that was so I need to write these down because I never remember the names of them, because I looked through so many of them throughout the weekend that I kind of forget what's with what. But if you have a specific question about a class, I'll look it up and let you know which one it's from. But I just love this. Just the concept was using strips of papers and then smaller photos, lined up here. I did add in some other supplies. So I got a bunch of these wood veneer embellishment packs. Hobby Lobby has a bunch of new ones. They had like 3 or 4, and they're from, I'm trying to think of the company that they're from. I don't know if I have any here with me. I don't think I do. I think they're all still packed. But there's a whole bunch, there's like a whole like maybe fourth of a wall of like these wood veneers with like gold foiling on them, and then packs of like by themed, like they have a unicorn pack and like a birthday pack, and it's a mix of like wood veneer embellishments with other embellishments. So I got a variety of those because they were super cute, and I used almost the entire collection pack of the hearts. I got stars, and then I also they have a bunch of new bling, and they have a really beautiful bling. It's more like of a true gold versus a yellow gold, like I would call it like a vintage gold. And so I used the entire pack I had purchased that first night by I think Sunday. So Monday I went back and they happened to be all 50% off now, so I got a whole bunch of them. because I do still use bling on layouts, especially like weddings and things. And I just love this color of gold. It's so beautiful. And they have a bunch of different colors and things. So anyway, I used most of the bling I use on these layouts because the gold just meshed really well with the outdoor, kind of vintage, outdoorsy look to these pages. So those were added in. Everything else is from that Bohemian Rhapsody kit collection that I put together, and just love it how it turned out. I think the colors are beautiful. I just love I need to do this more often. I love the combination of this beautiful text paper mixed in with the florals and the other designs. I just love that look, and so I need to do that more often. But I did do some stamping. Not a whole lot, but did a little bit there. Those are Felicity Jane stamps that I had. I took a couple kits, and I know I combined a Felicity Jane. You know what? I combined a Felicity Jane kit. I think it was the Willow monthly kit into this as well. And it, like when you looked at like the A sides of that kit, it didn't really mesh at all. But if you looked at the back sides of it, there were a lot of colors that worked. And so I think I only had maybe 1 or 2 sheets left of that and some of the embellishments, but I used a lot of it. So I think even maybe these here are from that Willow from Felicity Jane. So it was a larger kit, but I used up a ton of it. So there's that one, and it's just pictures of them coming down the aisle, and that's probably one of my favorites from the weekend. I love how that turned out. And then this one, just did a larger section here with a bunch of different layerings. Oh, I know what these were. Jen Scow and Erie Landgraf did a class together called Make an Impact. And I worked through some of that class, not all of it, but some of it. And then I just signed up for their custom made class, which I haven't worked through much because it's more about using your supplies, like some mixed media and different things, to kind of custom make your own embellishments. And I think that would be very handy for when you're at a crop, if you take limited supplies with you and you need to be creative in how you use those limited supplies. I had so much stuff with me that I'm like, I want to use up the supplies that are already pre-made that I have with me. So, but I look forward to digging into that class. But so anyway, just those are, any of Jen Scow's classes are great, and especially Jen and Erie together. I've also taken all of the Ready Set sketch classes with Jen Scow and Tracy Claiborne, just all really great classes. It's so neat to like sit down and work through one of those or a couple of those on a weekend like this. You can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, get through a class and get through some kits and product and get some pages made. So anyway, this is just bunch of just layered pieces in this square here, or this rectangle of pattern paper and stickers and wood veneers and embellishments and cards and just all kinds of really fun elements. And these again were from those packs from Hobby Lobby, and just a really fun color combination. I love these images of the lamps and the dream catchers, and just beautiful. And here's where I kind of took a story. I mean, it's from that wedding, but I kind of went a little deeper with it as far as kind of talked about my friendship with her, with the bride, and loved that. This paper to me reminded me so much of Jenny Bolin, but I think it was part of that photo play collection. It's gorgeous. Or no, I think this might have been Jen Hadfeld actually. And I just used it as just a really neat background element, and here I added in some of my own thickers, which probably need to be glued down. And again, these are from the Hobby Lobby pack, but just worked in some different layers and die cuts and things, and then did a little cluster at the top. Just working in some of the colors, so really fun. And then here I did a couple 8.5 by 11s because I know that these layouts are going to go in together, you know, in the album together. So because I knew that kind of what part of the evening that these pictures were in, I knew that if I was going to put one in there, I'd probably have you know, want to put one on the back of that because it's going to be in the midst of some 12 by 12s. And so I went ahead and made 2.5 by 11s. And this one was just about them feeding the cake to each other. And I just did a bunch of layering. And there was a cake in, I think this was a Jen Hadfeld pack. Or maybe it was the Willow. I don't remember now. I'm sorry. And so I'm like, well, I had a picture and it wasn't a great picture. So I cropped it and printed it with my Instax. And just took advantage of the fact that I had a cake die cut in there. And then just did a bunch of layering. And I always take these glassine bags and those are perfect for wedding pictures, especially because it gives that really soft white look to your layers, and splattered with Heidi Shine. And just really like how that one turned out. A lot of willow on this one. And then I pulled out a bunch of my freckled fawn. My last haul I had a freckled fawn, or maybe 2 hauls ago. I got a bunch of little mini kits from Freckled Fawn and some individual embellishments. And so I took that whole pack with me and then pulled out supplies that matched this kit. And I got almost all, like a huge portion of that Freckled Fawn haul used up. And so I know this was one of them. I think the flare was one of them. And so yeah, so added in some of those pieces as well. So there's that 8.5 by 11, and this other one was about the live band that was there and a song that was written for them by someone in the band. And so I thought that'd be a great time to use this Beautiful Music background paper, which I think is Jen Hadfeld, I think. Making sure you guys can see okay. I'm going to go up just a little bit here. Okay. And again, just did some layering, use these wood veneers. And I layered this guitar from the Bohemian Rhapsody collection underneath, just because it was a band, and did a little bit up there. So that was pretty simple, but. And then this one was in the wildflower paper pack, and I'm like, well, that's perfect, because it was very much a denim cowboy boots kind of situation. And so I had taken a picture of me with my Bud Light and my cowboy boots-ish, kind of more like not true cowboy boots, but like cowboy boot inspired shoes. And then I had taken it when you could see the band there. So it was just like, this is such a cool environment. This is great. I love this. It was beautiful outside. It was by a river. So it was a perfect chance. That paper, I'm like, oh, that speaks denim to me. So I grabbed the photo of the setting that was taken during the daylight. And then at night, you see the sand from the beach and the beer and the band and my boots. And it was just kind of a perfect night. And so just went with that story and embellished with, I have this star paper here, which is perfect because I was underneath the stars, and I just went with the kind of blues and the browns and pulled a lot of the wood grains, and this Good Vibes was perfect. That was, I think, from the Bohemian Rhapsody cut apart sheet. It's just a really cute collection, so had a lot of fun with that. And that's like a really random, I'm gonna guess this came from something else. I don't think I have any bling on this one. Maybe I'll just put a random bling right there. I don't know where it came from. Okay, so there's that one. You can see that. Okay. Oh, and this ribbon was in, I think this was in a Freckled Fawn, so I used probably about half of it. Okay, and then one more here. Actually, there's a couple more, but this was a selfie my husband and I took. And again, I think this was from Irit. She's just so great. Like I love, another thing I love about taking classes is I get in my same mode of what I do all the time, and I love to try out different design and try out different things, and this is totally not something I would have done on my own, you know, just doing this kind of top heavy piece and like just the randomness of the pieces, and I just love it. And so these are just tied on to the heart. This clip was from Freckled Fawn, and need to glue that down better though. I did some stamping underneath. I did some vellum, and again did some of the lots of the layering, and then I did a lot of distressing. I did that on some of these, some distressing of the just the edges of the papers. And some of them I distressed more than others, but a lot of them I just at least pulled up to give it some texture. And did a little then cluster down here. This cute camera I think I cut out of a card, and then just layered there. So there's that. I'm going to pause real fast because I think I had a text come through, and I will be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. I feel like I'm just not very straight here. There we go. Okay. So I love how this one turned out, and I just, again, love trying something different and having a different placement for things. I love this picture of my husband and I, so this is another favorite. I like this one a lot. And then this one here was just some pictures of me and each of my daughters. We took some selfies before the wedding and then at the actual venue, and just did some layering this way and journal down here. Used again those, like, look how pretty those are. Like, this was my favorite pack. Just this gorgeous, like, watercolory pack. I cannot, it's like on the tip of my tongue, the name of the company. Memento, I think it's Memento is the brand. And then use those gold, really pretty bling, and I love, like, this is the Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, the colors are just gorgeous. And so just really loved playing with this collection. These are from Felicity Jane. The flowers all were. So, okay. Another one here of this. I know a lot of the papers are from the Wildflower pack. It's good kind of mix, I think. And just a real simple, just kind of went with this way and this way, and layered some cards and tags and wood veneers and butterflies from the die cut pack. Or maybe these are stickers from the Bohemian Rhapsody. And just did some photos of my girls playing in the river. So, and then another, I think this is the last page I did. There's still one more to show you, but I think this is the last one I did, and this is when I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm like out of really good embellishments, and so I just did some of the random photos from the evening, their vehicle, and then just some photos from the ceremony, and then just talked about like the details of the wedding, like how it actually ended up being super close to our house, and we had no idea, and we'd never been there before, and we were like in awe when we pulled in, and it was so beautiful, and just journaled about the details of the evening, and used some of the flair from Freckled Fawn and some letters from my stash, and just layered some papers, and then just got those documented. So that was pretty simple. And this one is super interesting to me, that I would never think to do this on my own. Again, this is an Erie Landgraf inspired page. Just, you know, using these, like, this was my favorite paper. Like, worked with the entire weekend. Is from the photo play, the Bohemian Rhapsody, which I got from Hobby Lobby, and this paper is gorgeous. And so I love that this kind of design highlights that paper in such a unique way. And then I layered some doilies that I had from my stash. I layered some of these with vellum underneath them, a little cluster here, cluster above the photo, and so it's kind of like this way. And just love how this turned out. Like, this is another one of my favorites. Again, use the wood veneers from Hobby Lobby and the different elements that were in my kit, and some enamel dots and things from my stash and that I got at Hobby Lobby. And I stamped that from the Felicity Jane stamp set. So just the colors are gorgeous. I love that paper. I still have, I think, one piece left, so I might have to hoard it. Love it. Okay, and then the last page I made from that collection of supplies was related to the wedding, but not. So the wedding was actually the day of our anniversary, and so I just went that angle instead, took a photo that we had taken before their wedding to talk about the fact that that day was also our 17-year anniversary. So did a picture of me and my husband and just talked about that, and went with more of the love theme for my husband and myself. These are from Freckled Fawn, and I did a glassine bag there, and then just layered some other pattern papers, and just a little cluster up here of a sticker and the 17 for the number of years, some enamel dots, and the wood veneer. So love that. Okay. All right, and then what I did was I put together a couple more collections. I had a bunch of state fair photos that I just took last weekend, and so I had this older October afternoon fair themed collection, and then I had an old fancy pants circus themed collection, and I just went ahead and combined them together and worked with them. Now I know I have this new Maggie Holmes collection that also has carousel, like fair type of themes to it, but I was missing like 4 items from that collection, and I just didn't end up pulling it out to play with it because I wanted to wait till I had everything, which they were here of course when I got home today, which means they came probably the day after I left, which is okay because it was good to get these older supplies used up, and the colors actually probably worked better with these because of the clothes we were wearing and things, but definitely you can tell they're older supplies. There's a lot more cream based and darker kind of crafty based pages, but that's okay. Like, it's documented and I had fun with it. It was fun to pull out old supplies. I love October Afternoon. I miss their products, so it was fun to play with them. So this is one of them, and I just did some fun layering of papers and put 2 photos of my husband and oldest daughter riding a camel, and I pulled probably 6 or 7 different stickers from my stash that matched the line, and tried to use some of my stash up there as well. And there's a whole bunch of buttons with that October Afternoon collection, so it was fun to use buttons again, and just layered buttons and chipboard stickers and cards. There's a bunch of cards. And I think I ended up using almost all the ephemera from that October Afternoon collection. I had a good portion of the fancy pants left just because it was a lot darker and it was more circus themed, which this wasn't a circus, but a lot of the same themes show up in both of those. So there's that. And then I'd also, when I bought, way back when I bought the October Afternoon collection, I'd gotten like this mini album set of just pages. Then you could just put a ring in them and then decorate the pages. And I knew I wasn't going to do that, so I just took the pages of, used them as individual pages, and then just like either trimmed off where the holes were pre-punched. So I just used, like, this one had the number 4 on it, and it was perfect. So I had my 2 daughters and 2 friends that went on rides together, so I just used it for that. And I think I used about half of them up, just using them as layers. I love this paper. At first, I was overwhelmed by it, but I ended up really loving it. So just use that as a background, some layers here, and then the photo, and then other, embellishments around. There's a ticket. There's a roll of tickets there, so I use them here and here, and chipboard, flare, buttons, some splatter mist. So that was fun. And then this one, same collections, but just kind of toned down the colors for this photo, because it was just a photo of my daughter when we were doing the indoor areas and looking at the different booths and things. She would just try on this cowboy hat, and I'm like, hey, give me a pose, and then I took a picture, and it was super cute. So it was a good chance just to use up kind of the more westerny feeling supplies, and like this funny flare here where you had a hat, and just kind of had fun with that photo. So I did a little clustering of these banners from October Afternoon, and a Brad here, and then that fun flare. So that was fun. Hopefully you guys can see okay. Sorry, I don't know if I used up probably about half of the Brads from the collection, which was good. And then I did this really fun pocket page of just all the random photos of them on rides. and I had taken my fuse with me, so I took this inside one here where I journaled, and then I just embellished. These cards were, oh, I forgot, these cards were actually from a Project Life card collection that was I think circus themed as well. And so I just took like 6 of those cards, the 4x6 cards, and put them in because all the colors are kind of primary and beautiful and bright. And so then I took one of the leftover just scraps of the October Afternoon paper and like just layered it there, and then layered one of the October Afternoon cards where I journaled, and then used a flare from October Afternoon as well. And then I just put in, I happened to have this little tiny pack of sequins I just thrown in my bag because I'm like, I've had these for forever. I think they were from like a children's, like a girl's kit or something, like a girl's scrapbook kit, and I just had them in my stash. And the only color that was in the collection that didn't work was like a darker purple, so I took the purple ones out and then threw the rest in there, and it just makes, I love it. Like I love the sequins in there, so because the colors are bright and pretty and fun. So there we go. That will just go in, it'll just be mixed in with all these other pages about that day. And there's this one. So the corrugated paper, as many of you know, is from Fancy Pants. That's kind of one of their things that they do in their collections. They put in corrugated paper. And so this is just a picture of some of the famous, you know, state fair food that you eat. And I taken a photo and just did a page about that. Just did some different layers. I love this sticker. This is from Fancy Pants. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. So first time I've had a deep fat fried ho-ho, and it was very yummy. This is probably one of my, well, I have a couple favorites, but this is one of my favorites from this collection of layouts. And just because I think it's just my style, and it's brighter, like a lot of these other ones have kind of darker backgrounds. I love the white background and the fun, bright, layers of like the tickets and the papers and the banners and things. So I love that. Here's kind of I popped out of these up to give them some dimension and use these these were actually from Fancy Pants, but most everything else I think was from the October Afternoon collection. So super fun. I love that one. This one as well. I had taken a picture of my daughters on the way in, and then on the way out we passed this really cool like artwork that was Nebraska themed, and so I went ahead and just did kind of a layout about entering the park and leaving the park and how I'm thankful that we live in this state. And so that's what this page is about. So just did some different layers and called it State Fair Love because it's about loving my state but also loving the fair. And the good life is Nebraska's motto. It's Nebraska the good life. So that was perfect. I had pulled that across early on in using the collection. I knew exactly what that embellishment was going to be used for. And just a star, and love how that turned out. This one's not my favorite, again, because the papers I used are so dark. You know, this is back when a lot of paper lines were more distressed and darker, and it's okay. I just wish maybe I would have outlined it in white or done something. Like the photos have a white base, and there's white in some of the embellishments, but it's not a big deal. I'm not going to redo it. It's the theme of the paper and the stickers is perfect for the photos. It just isn't my style right now, and that's okay. I'm gonna throw it in the album with the rest and call it good. So this is just one I just did like a couple. There's like I think 3 papers that I layered up, and then I layered all these different stickers because they were circus themed, but they worked for stunts, and so we watched a stunt show and it was perfect to use lots of the tags. A lot of the words and phrases worked perfectly for this situation. So it's done. And then this one was just a picture layout about my husband and I, who spent like the entire day just pretty much waiting for our girls to ride on rides. Like it was super fun to watch them experience it. I'm sorry, you guys. I need to like be checking more often. And so we'd taken a selfie, and I just scrapbooked about how, you know, we just really enjoyed ourselves just watching the kids have fun, and that's what it was about that day. And just did a lot of fun layering with a lot of the elements from the line. And this clip was from Freckled Fawn, Brad's, and just lots of fun layering pieces there. And that's where I used another one of those pages that had the number 2 on it. And I just talked about how it was us 2 just kind of on our own. Okay. Okay, then at the end of the trip, I'm kind of skipping ahead here, I made my own kit. And again, this is from a big picture class. There's a big picture class about making your own kits. And granted, I do it all the time, but it's always nice to watch other people's processes. And there were some layouts to scrap lift, so I scrap lifted the layouts that were on the class and just got inspired to make my own kit. So I basically I'd taken some paper pads, and then I had, at this point, I had like multiple collections I like leftovers of. So I encouraged myself to go to all the leftovers that I had, you know, accumulated over the entire weekend and pull from those leftovers to make a kit. So I grabbed, I think everything was pretty much from leftovers, either full sheets or scraps or embellishment pieces. So so this is a huge variety of papers and supplies. And so, yeah, but it was fun. It's always fun to do that and mix things together that you maybe wouldn't have otherwise. So this one is just 4 strips of papers, and again, I curled up the edges and then tucked things in. So photos are tucked in here. I tucked in an embellishment cluster here, and then an embellishment cluster up there. And again, this is a variety. I know there's some Echo Park in here, I think. That Creative Agenda. I used some of that collection because I just had bits and pieces left over that I'd taken with me. Again, some more of the Hobby Lobby wood veneers. And then I'd taken a wood veneer pack that I got in my most recent haul. I took and probably used up about maybe a third of those. So there's that. This is another one. And this one on my own, and then the next, no, maybe just that one. Okay, so yeah, this one is just huge cluster of patterns, photo of my husband and I, that same selfie, but this is more of a story about like our everyday life right now. So it was about how, because we're so busy, we have so many things going on with work and kids activities, that it's nice to get a day away every once in a while just to hang out as a family and to actually see each other instead of like pass by each other. And so this kind of the same photo, but just a different story. This will go into a different album about my husband and me, I think. Whereas the other ones will go into our Together Time albums as a family. So just had some fun. This is like a huge mix. This is Creative Agenda. This is Pink Paisley, C'est La Vie, like huge, this is like huge collection of different supplies that I worked with throughout the weekend, the leftovers. So love that one. Like I think this background paper is either C'est La Vie or Moonstruck. I think it's C'est La Vie as well. You'll see I use that here pretty soon. This one I love. There's a class about clusters on Big Picture classes, so I did look at a few of those videos, and she just does such, I love her layouts, and I can't place her name right now. But it's, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. But she does, I think a couple, maybe at least one class about clustering on Big Picture classes, and it's such a good class. I just love her style. And so I'm going to probably be going to her Instagram often. What's her name? Sorry, I can't think of it. Again, if you want to know for specifics, if you aren't a Big Picture member, and you want to know who it is, just holler at me. I'll let you know. I'll look it up. If you are a Big Picture member, it's just, again, look for a class about clustering, and that's what I'm talking about. But just, I love just the layering on the bottom and top, and then doing a cluster in the middle. And so here I printed off 2 Instax pictures of my daughter swinging and talked about kind of our schedule right now, because we have some dead time between school getting out and my daughter getting out of practice for cross country. And so what we usually do is get a snack, and then she just swings the entire like hour and a half. So, because she loves to swing. So I talked about that, and then I used a Felicity Jane stamp. It says "So Much Happy," and just stamped it, journaled here, and then just did some layering of some stickers and things. Again, this is from my homemade kit that I made from leftovers. So I love this, how this turned out. This is totally like closer to my style, and I'm loving how that turned out. And then another one with my kit as well. Again, using this background paper. Again, I had a couple of these from C'est La Vie, I believe. And just, I folded down a corner and embellished, put a pattern paper behind it, embellished there, and then just embellished around the two photos using a bunch of the leftover supplies and things from my stash I had with me. Some C'est La Vie puffy stickers there, and just some random stickers from, I think, Creative Agenda. I had 2 sticker sheets from Creative Agenda, and then a sticker sheet from, I had like as Echo Park, like they had the mini kits, and I got like a selfie mini kit, and so I used a couple stickers off of that, but it was kind of a different color scheme. It had a lot of purpley blue colors that didn't necessarily work. But the cameras here were from that selfie line, and the sticker as well. And so I just kind of I cut those out from a pattern paper, because that's actually the paper I used for my inspiration for the kit, but didn't end up actually using the paper itself, except to cut out, you know, pieces of cameras. Again, lots of leftovers here. So like leftover from the Bohemian Rhapsody here, and some more of the wood veneers that I got in my recent haul, and just a bunch of random stickers from the Creative Agenda collection that I happened just to have with me, that I had already used a little bit, but just needed to get more of it used. So just love this text paper. I'm not for sure. This is from, I think, a paper pad that I taken. I'm not for sure which one though, but just did a fun little cluster there, because the photos were taken at our house. And another cluster up there, and then just some up here. These are freckled fawn. So I used up a lot of the freckled fawn supplies, like I mentioned before. So again, love that, the clean look of that. Okay, then I worked with Chamel's Little by Little, and like I mentioned before, I scrap up to Jen Scow. She did a YouTube series on using that collection, and I'm just gonna check in again here. So I had a lot of fun with that. There's 5 videos so far, and I'm not for sure if she's done or if there'll be more, but so this is one of them. And what I did was I interspersed a lot of the freckled fawn supplies I had at this point not used yet, had some purple tones in them. So since this collection has purple in it, I kind of pulled those closer to my workspace and tried to incorporate them in. And so I was able to use a lot of them. And these are some of those freckled fawn pieces, and I just scattered them throughout the clouds. And then just then layered a bunch of the papers and supplies from the collection, along with some wood veneers I brought with me from my most recent haul, and just used a lot of her kind of smaller pieces. That's from Freckled Fawn too, this chipboard and that chipboard as well. But then if you can see, like on the edges of the little word bubbles or thought bubbles, I did a wood veneer and a puffy heart, and the wood veneer is from my stash. The heart was from the Chamel line. Just try to add some consistency of the wood veneer throughout the page. And yeah. Oh, and then these here, I had some little foam stickers from Freckled Fawn as well, because I didn't buy the ones from this collection, or if I did, they weren't with it. And so I just pulled that little, there's just like a little pack of these types of words that were foam that I just added to the kit as well. So love how that one turned out. It's really cute. They're outdoor pictures, so the clouds work perfect. This one as well. So I had a lot of fun. Her collection, this collection in particular, was very usable as far as like having a great variety of smaller to medium-sized to larger pieces that all work together, and I know she really focuses on that. Just realized I forgot twine. I'm going to have to put twine in that little tag there. That will drive me crazy. Or just maybe put another either enamel something or one of these there. Anyway, but just love it. So had a lot of fun with this. Just used some 6x6 papers and layered them up, and then just did like a little diagonal layering of mostly all Chamel stuff, but then some wood veneers from my stash and from Hobby Lobby. Love it. So you have like die cuts and dimensional pieces, and like her die cuts are embossed. They're really pretty. Your puffy stickers, your wood veneer based things, just lots of fun textures. So I love how that one turned out as well. And this one was definitely a different for me, but I love being forced to play, because I never would have done something like this on my own. Again, Jen Scow has a video on this on YouTube, and I love it. And she used watercolor, but I didn't have watercolor, so I just used my mist, and I just did this where you rub it on with a piece of plastic, and just because I had a bunch of color shines with me, and so I just did it that way, and then followed her directions on everything else as far as cutting out the insides of this paper and then putting the photos underneath. And then I just embellished by color. I added in a couple random like multicolor pieces just to add some interest, and then at the bottom this camera paper had the exact colors that were up here, so I just layered that and then brought some of the sequins down. Since I had used the gold here, I added in some of the gold washi tape at the bottom. And there's gold foiling on some of these feathers and stuff too. So I just wanted to keep that. But it was so much fun. It's warped and it's crazy, but I love this layout. Like, I love how it turned out. Most everything's from Chamel, but like this is from Freckled Fawn. Freckled Fawn. I think all these clips are from Freckled Fawn, I think. But Freckled Fawn. So, and then the sequins were from Pink Paisley, I think. But then like the words and the puffy stickers and stuff are from Chamel. So, super fun. I love that. And then one more. Love this paper, and just kind of took advantage of the design that was already on it and just layered. I cut these out of one of the papers, and the sweet and the friendship, and then just kind of layered them and layered the photos, and didn't do a whole lot to this one. I did add in some Freckled Fawn items as well. I think I must have used that entire pack. And then some wood veneers from my stash and from the Chamel collection. And Freckled Fawn again up there and here. I used a lot of those, which I don't normally like word bubbles. I'm not for sure why I bought them. I'm not a big word bubble person. Or maybe I may have bought a kit, like a little kit, and I think it may have been in there, because I don't think I would have ordered them on their own. But I ended up using almost all of them, so I was able to use them. And then stamped again, So Much Happy. And just had a lot of fun with these photos. And then my last one from Chamel is this one here, and just making sure we're still rolling here. Okay, we're good. And oops, where that came from. I need to read here that. This was just one photo and just a cluster. I think concept was using a bunch of bits and pieces of different stickers that you may not use otherwise, and just using like the edges of them. And I just did that a little bit, but I mostly just layered all these fun elements that I wanted to use. So there's some papers back there, and it was about going to preschool open house, so the books were perfect. I used the foxes and just some of the rest of the Freckled Fawn little chipboard stickers, and just a bunch of the Chamel supplies. And I think I used almost the entire pack of these wood buttons, and just had a lot of fun layering stuff that I thought was kind of school themed, like the typewriter and things like that. And there's a little banner up here, and two more of those. So there's that one. Okay, I'm going to pause and do my last little bit here. Okay, so then I also worked with Pink Paisley's Moonstruck collection, and I had added in prior on another weekend. I just combined it with Pink Paisley's C'est La Vie. So I went ahead and worked with those together, and I scrapbooked the eclipse, because what a perfect collection to scrapbook the eclipse with other than Moonstruck. And so I love how these turned out. I had this really beautiful photo that I'd taken from our school's Facebook page because my daughter was in it, and it's like the most beautiful photo, and it actually printed really nicely. I took my selfie with me and it printed beautifully, and I just wanted it to keep it soft to really focus on the photo. And so I just did like this tan arrow paper. It's like tan and white, and then this really pretty soft pink, and then pulled that pink in here and some darker pinks just because you got a lot of those pinks and blues in the photo, and then did some acetate and glassine pieces just to keep it really soft, and hopefully you can see it okay. And then I had this dreamy word here, which is perfect, and that kind of pulled some of the blue down, and then I just pulled some of the die cuts, like the Moonlight Memories and this heart, just to bring again some of those blues and greens in, but not super in a super heavy way. And then did some of these little glass pieces in gold and silver. And I had some like washi down here, and this gold says beautiful up here, and some gold splattering. And there's some gold foiling and stuff on some of these elements, so it just kind of kept try to keep it throughout the entire cluster there. But so that photo is so beautiful. Love it. Okay. And then I did let me see what else I have here. I'm trying to remember, make sure I get these in order. Okay, so then I did my experience. I scrapbooked, and of course I had to use this awesome moon and star paper. So I scrapbooked about my experience using a photo of a selfie with the glasses on, and then a picture of the full eclipse. And just layered some fun papers that had that feeling to it, of like the atmosphere when it happened, and then used again this Moonlight Memories. I had 2 packs. I think both Moonstruck and C'est La Vie, I had 2 of the die cut packs because I think I got them in kits. I actually used from C'est La Vie these acrylic numbers, or acetate numbers, so 100, because our totality was right at 1 o'clock. And put brilliant here. There's a partially covered like eclipsed moon there, and another acetate piece over here. It's circular. And then used the letters from C'est La Vie, put total eclipse down here. And then I used 2 of the folders from C'est La Vie, and I actually journaled in there. So if you open this, I put a sticker that says Moonstruck and journaled about my experience. So I loved it. It was way cooler than I thought it was going to be. There was so much hype about it, and I just didn't know why, and I get it afterwards. So that is my experience. And then what I did was, the other photos I had taken that day, I just put in a protector. And because there's some really cool photos. This is my favorite photos of our eclipse. And then on the back, because I knew that these would all be together, I did some of the random photos I had taken from my school's Facebook page that had my daughter in them. And then that will go next to then a layout I made about her experience. And like what they did as a class, how they celebrated what they did. I was able to see a video about her response to it as it was happening. So I journaled about that, since I don't know how to do QR codes yet to put a video on a page. So then these will be together then. And again, just kind of went brighter here because you had all the kids. But again, trying to keep some of those space, moon themed, throughout these little cutout squares on that one of their papers was on one of their papers, had some really fun like moons on them, so I just used that. And their clear stickers, daydreamers and stargazers, and there was a little washi that had the moons in different parts of eclipse. So I just had a lot of fun with that. Used again some of these star wood veneers from Hobby Lobby, and so got that documented, which was awesome. And then I also documented my husband's experience and my oldest daughter's experience, because I had some photos. My oldest daughter went to a college nearby our university, and I was able to scrapbook about her experience there from what she told me in the pictures I got from Facebook. And here I just combined this stargazer paper with this really just pretty toned arrow paper from, I don't know if this is Moonstruck or if this is from C'est La Vie, and just had some fun with that. So, and I used some silver enamel dots from my stash just because I had pulled in like this silver glass hello there, and kept that throughout. And then my husband had sent me a picture of his coworkers. He's not in the actual picture, but I went ahead and scrapbooked the photo of his coworkers and what he did, like his experience, because he was in town with a bunch of people. It was totally opposite of me, and so I scrapbooked his experience because it was just a once in a lifetime thing, and it was so cool. And I wanted to get us, make sure we were all. So I like that this paper here had the look of like an older building or a brick building. So since he was downtown, I combined that with the other piece of this paper that I had stolen from my daughter's page there, and just kept it really simple and kind of manly, you know what I mean? And just journaled about his experience. So that is it. I think it's 37 layouts, I believe. And had so much fun. It's always such a good weekend, and then I'm always sad that it's over, but now I'm kind of ready to, we're full into we're full into fall stuff for my job and post summer stuff for, dance starts this week and just craziness. I need to get the house decorated for fall, the shop decorated for fall. We have a fall open house here pretty soon at my business. Just lots of stuff going on. So I was ready to kind of now I'm kind of at the point where I've gotten to relax for 3 days, and I feel like I have the energy to go full bore on what I need to work and home wise. So I'll be back. I have multiple videos to upload. I'm going to start those now and go hang out with my puppy dog because she missed me while I was gone, eat some lunch, and got to start running. So wanted to get the layouts uploaded and shown to you guys so you kind of saw what I got accomplished. And and I was going to mention too that Angie now has an Instagram account. I think it's A Turek, or you can just search Angie Turek, and she is starting to post layouts on her Instagram page, so make sure you check her out. I don't do a lot of scrapbooking on mine. I should do more than I do, so maybe that's something I'll start to focus on too, but for now I know she is starting to post some of her completions on there as well. She worked with the new Maggie Holmes collection and made a bunch of really cute, we actually both made the exact same number of layouts, which never happened, so that was really cool. But anyway, just wanted to say hey and show you what we made, and I'll be back soon. Thank you guys so much, and happy scrapping. Bye bye.